Alright, so I've been replaying Arkham Knight lately, and honestly, I forgot how good this game actually is. Like, it's been 10 years since Rocksteady dropped this, and I see people on Reddit still arguing about it. Some say it's a masterpiece, some say the Batmobile ruined it. And you know what? They're both kind of right, but also missing the point. So today, we're doing a 2025 review of Batman Arkham Knight. And we're not just talking about whether it's good or bad, that's boring. We're talking about why a game that came out in 2015 still feels relevant, what actually holds up. And yeah, we're gonna talk about that tank too. Let's start with what actually matters, the story. Because honestly, this is where Arkham Knight flexes on most superhero games, even in 2025. The setup is simple on the surface. Scarecrow is threatening Gotham with fear toxin. The mysterious Arkham Knight is leading this military takeover. Batman's got one night to save the city. Standard stuff, right? But here's where it gets interesting. Batman gets exposed to Scarecrow's fear toxin, and because of plot reasons, which I'll skip, he starts hallucinating the Joker. Not the real Joker, a version of him that's literally inside Batman's head, whispering poison the entire game. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why is the Joker back again? But stick with me. This isn't just fan service. The Joker represents everything Batman's afraid of becoming. And watching Batman deal with that internal struggle while literally fighting to save a city, that's genuinely compelling storytelling. Throughout the game, the Joker is commentating on Batman's actions, mocking him, sometimes supporting him in twisted ways. And the voice acting? Mark Hamill's performance is absolutely unhinged. The dude sounds like he's losing it, and that's the entire point. Batman's losing control, and the Joker is getting stronger in his mind. The twist ending, and I'm not spoiling too much here, but the way they resolve the Joker arc is actually really clever. It recontextualizes everything you've been doing the whole game. The final sequence? Chef's kiss. One of the best endings I've seen in a game, even now. Okay, so gameplay. This is where Arkham Knight actually improves on everything that came before, except for one very specific thing that we'll get to. The combat is legitimately the best in the series. The free flow system has been refined so much that fighting feels less like button mashing and more like you're choreographing a fight sequence. You're moving between enemies, countering, using gadgets seamlessly. It just flows. And they added this thing called dual play, where you can switch to Robin or Nightwing during combat, and it actually makes sense in the story. It's not just some random feature. Stealth sections are still incredible. You've got all these creative ways to take down enemies without being seen. Voice modulation, gadgets, environmental kills. You can approach these encounters in like 10 different ways. That's the kind of design that makes you want to replay missions. Exploration is fantastic too. Gotham is huge. We're talking about a map that's 5 times the size of Arkham City. And unlike some open world games, there's actually stuff to do everywhere. Side missions involving villains are legitimately good. The Riddler challenges, okay, there's a lot of them, and some can feel grindy, but they're satisfying to solve. Traversal feels amazing. Gliding around the city never gets old. There's this sense of speed and control that just feels right. You can chain grappling moves together, use gadgets mid-air, and the parkour-type movement feels so smooth, even by 2025 standards. Alright, let's address the Batmobile. This is the thing that breaks the internet every time Arkham Knight comes up. Here's the thing. The Batmobile itself isn't bad. Driving it around is actually pretty fun. The tank battles are okay. They're interesting the first few times. But here's where it falls apart. There's just too much of it. Rocksteady clearly wanted to showcase this new mechanic, so they shoved it into literally everything. Story missions? Batmobile. Side missions? Batmobile. Boss fights? Let's make it a tank battle instead of an actual martial arts fight. Like, Deathstroke is one of the most dangerous fighters in the DC universe, a martial artist who can match Batman blow for blow, but what does the game do? Tank battle. Arkham Knight himself should be an epic hand-to-hand fight. Tank battle. It's so frustrating because you know these fights would be incredible in the classic Arkham style. And don't even get me started on how the Batmobile changed the map design. Gotham feels more artificial because they had to design it around driving routes. There are big open streets for the tank, but it makes the city feel less organic than Arkham City did, which was smaller but more densely packed with verticality and detail. The weird part? Once you stop fighting the Batmobile and just accept it for what it is, the game becomes more enjoyable. It's not game-breaking. It's just, there's a lot of it, and not all of it works. Real talk, the PC version of this game had issues, like serious issues at launch. But we're in 2025 now, and it's pretty solid if you've got decent hardware. On console, PS4, Xbox One, and the next-gen versions, it runs great. The graphics still hold up ridiculously well. The character models are detailed, the cutscenes are cinematic, and Gotham looks genuinely dark and oppressive in the best way possible. If you're playing on PC, just don't enable GameWorks features unless you've got a high-end setup. Turn those off and the game runs smooth. The rain effects, the lighting, the overall atmosphere, it all looks fantastic. Performance-wise, you're looking at solid frame rates on most modern setups. Game Pass included it recently too, so if you've got that subscription, you might as well try it. So the real question, is this worth your time in 2025? Absolutely, but with caveats. If you're a Batman fan or a superhero game fan in general, you have to play this. The story alone makes it worth it. The characters are incredible. You get to see Batman at his absolute lowest point, psychologically destroyed, fighting to maintain his humanity. That's compelling stuff. If you love action games and stealth games, this delivers on both fronts in ways that most games still can't match in 2025. The combat mechanics have influenced so many games that came after. The stealth design is still top tier. But if you go in expecting 10 hours of pure Batman fighting, if you're not cool with spending a decent chunk of time in the Batmobile, you might bounce off it. That's fair. The game is still trying to prove a concept that maybe didn't need proving. Also, fair warning, the ending twist is pretty predictable if you've read any Batman comics. The Arkham Knight's reveal is not surprising. But again, the game's more about the journey than the destination. There's also a ton of side content. The 100% completion rate is brutal because of the Riddler challenges scattered everywhere. If you're not into collectathon stuff, don't stress it. The main story is like 20 to 25 hours if you do some side stuff. So yeah, play it. Ignore the people who say the Batmobile ruined it. Ignore the people who say it's a masterpiece with zero flaws. Form your own opinion. Because honestly, that's what makes games special, when you experience them yourself instead of just reading hot takes online. Alright, that's the review. Let me know what you think about Arkham Knight in the comments. Did the Batmobile ruin it for you, or did you actually enjoy it? And if you're planning to replay it or play it for the first time, good luck. You're in for a ride. Thanks for watching. If you liked this, consider subscribing for more game reviews and analysis. See you next time.